Okay. I guess next it's going to be the Engi. Okay. I guess let's just start from the very left. You can, like I say, it depends how you play, how comfortable you are, as if you get in, if you kind of get in there, or if you don't. Some of the stuff I get is because I normally use, it's almost now like a default. It's kind of good to use as the Rescue Ranger, and sometimes just since you get marked for death while picking it up, building up, it's good to have that crit resistance because they'll actually help you out. The next thing you could possibly get is the movement speed. You think, why would you know why would an engineer need movement speed? One, if you think about it, the two main reasons. One, if you need to move stuff up, move stuff back, you can grab and you can get there 30% faster than you do without. And also it's good for the sentry busters, or you can grab your stuff, run up, touch it, move back, get your sentry back up to the field a little bit faster. And after that, some blasting bullet would be good, so you don't die, because you're still an important part of the team. You got to keep your stuff alive, which will help your teammates stay alive, and also keep that line where the robots are not get too pushed back. The next up, like I said, what I normally use, and I just realized I'm doing this out of sequence. Oh well. I normally use the Rescue Ranger, and I usually don't really upgrade. Now, one thing you can do, which you have to rely on using more building upgrades. I have kind of go on more on the attack, where I basically put no money on the wrench, and I think not even on disposable, and put money into my Rescue Ranger and actually deal out damage. But the negative would be, if your stuff gets destroyed, if you have time to set up, that's fine. If not, you have to, go through building canteens. But which all of those are good to have to use, maybe in the first wave or two. But I'll get to that when I continue. Secondary, probably best of what I normally use. I use the Wrangler, because perfect example, which I will just go here real quick. One thing that's always good, because by the end you need to max out your building's health. That's everything. Your sentry, your teleporters, but your dispenser, like sentry, that's important, because just by mentioning that and get back to the Wrangler, it's been several times where my sentry's at full health and ammo, and say a giant heavy or soldier. And as long as I if I can start firing before they start shooting my sentry, and I'm wrangling it, if at least other teammates helping with the damage, they will most likely die before my sentry is killed, because with the extra damage resistance, with the extra health, you can take down a giant on your own. If not, if your sentry goes down, he'll have very low health, and guess what? Boom, your teammate should be able to take it down quickly. Next up is the wrench, the hitty tool. I normally use the Jag, because you don't normally will be technically be swinging your melee for anything. The kind of the two choices are, the Jag or the default. But I like to use the Jag, because for me, I almost never use building canteens. If the bomb's like at base, and half your team means half your teammates are dead, I'll do that, quickly get buildings up, and I usually save. Most time I usually don't, because that 30% faster construction, plus another thing you always need to do, max out your attack speed. Attack speed is your upgrade speed, basically. This really needs to be reworded and literally say 10% faster building speed, because I'd be very surprised. It's sometimes like wave 2 people start putting in money, it's like, or even by wave 3, and then we get halfway, it's like, why don't you have any attack speed? Because one thing I like to do, it is a hindrance, because with the less damage, An engineer is really effective, especially it's just if you got the attack speed maxed out and your sentry shooting, say, a tank. You actually can deal a lot of damage if you're actually just meleeing the tank, and also when your sentry is also shooting it. So, anyway, next is the upgrades. Very first thing. Here we go. Spend $300 and get the dispenser range maxed out. Period. Main reason why is the best phrase I heard one of my friends say is, he was a heavy and he had to say the phrase, "I'm literally dry humping the dispenser." That's fine in normal gameplay, you know what I mean? But when you're in MvM, it's like you need to have the mobility where you don't have to get a little close, but not literally just touching it like you're hugging it. And it's $300. Come on. That's wave 1. Oh, here we're starting. Let me just do this. Period. After that, continue on. But get that. It's $300. The next thing, two-way teleporters. I almost never get it. It's it can a couple of times it can come in handy if a giant scout gets by. You can very easily get back to base, plop your sentry down, and make sure it doesn't get delivered. That's like the only real situation. The extra metal, me personally, I just get one. Main reason why is if you do need to use a building canteen, best thing to do is drop your dispenser, drop your sentry, and then building upgrade, because it upgrades everything that's on the field, and then boom, you can get both of them. Because if you don't, you only have enough for one. You have to run around, get an ammo pack, then drop the other one. That's wasted time. So, like I say, one's enough. The next, firing speed. I actually rarely do firing speed, because that means you have to baby the sentry more, which is it's a pro and a con. Yes, you're dealing with that more damage, but then you have to stop, because I normally do, even if I did not upgrade my shotgun, whatever shotgun it is, I have to go stop, refill the ammo, and then continue. I normally, while shooting, I'm just pew pew, shooting my pistol or my shotgun, whatever. And the one thing, there's honestly, get it, is the disposal mini sentry. But don't get it like on wave 1 or 2. That's like halfway. That's like the halfway something to get. Don't get it so early, because I have seen people get kicked because they got a mini sentry on wave 1, because they go, oh, let me just and one good thing like that. There you go. You're partly right, but then that's it's not good. So there's that, and I guess the last thing I want to show off right fast, or the other choices that I kind of skipped over. Like I say, Rescue Ranger is probably the best bet, because with the grabbing your building, so you don't have to rebuild it, and so it's kind of like almost the default. Next, there's nothing wrong with the Frontier Justice. That's probably the next choice. They're like almost technically tied, because you can actually really help with the tank if you got kills saved up. After that, Thompson, or the default shotgun. These are technically kind of upgrades, so you might as well go for one of these. The Thompson, honestly, that was only good for like giant medics or something like that. But I personally have tried it for some strange reason. It just does not seem to really work. So I don't know. Just take my advice. Just don't use the Thompson. The Widowmaker. There's actually nothing wrong with that, honestly, because one thing you can do is you can really just, this is actually a good combination. If you max out your firing, max out your penetration, and here's the thing, max out your ammo. And where the money can kind of come from, like not getting the disposable, maybe sacrificing, because hopefully you have 2 of each, getting one blast, one bullet, you can actually kind of help deal damage. But again, like this is terrible against tanks because that you don't get your ammo back. So like I said, that's kind of the weapons and how I use um, when I play engineer. Now, last thing I just want to show off is the kind of the best places to set your stuff, and I would probably say for the teleporter, right there. Well, technically, I mean, this spot right here is not like the necessary spot, but at least somewhere halfway in between. There's there, there's there. It makes it where it's like accessible, halfway in between both spawns. The left and the right, or the right and the left. Because if you put it way over here, people who live this side will be, teleport, get back in the battle quickly. Ones over there have to walk, vice versa. Put it right in the middle. It's nice. And then there's two places that you can put the teleporter. One where it's 100% safe will be up here in the bell tower, and the second one is also here, this is technically also pretty safe. The only time it would not get safe is when a Robo Engi comes in here, but most likely its sentry will be shooting it, so it's this is probably just as safe as that. Next up is the kind of the best places to build. There's basically three spots. Like probably the first spot for your dispenser would be kind of right there. Because try to use this rock right here as a guard for the splash damage for mostly like from rockets. Because whenever the robots are coming in, in that direction right there, and they're making their way down, that's a good spot. Now, when the robots start coming from the right side, and you have to focus all your damage going in this direction, the two places that can be moved to, because mostly the heavy is going to need it. You can put it right here, but it gets more fire with the robots coming in this direction. But the second place you can also put it is right around this right here, because you can stand up. Sorry, they must have fixed it. Most I don't think I have upgrades in the. Oh yeah, that's the reason why. So I'm sorry. You can put it right behind there, and it will reach you, and your dispenser's completely safe, and your teammates are alive. Now the next place. Now here's a good spot for the sentry. Probably the best part to start off is here, but you gotta be careful, because this is in the right in the direct line of fire, and this is gonna soak up a lot of damage, and it will die. It'll be like going away, and then it's like in between your heads, boom, it's gone. You gotta learn, if it's really low health, grab it and move away. It may be a lag thing. It happens. The next spot, you'll be doing a little bit less, but the range of the sentry, it can shoot the robots right when they drop, even from this range. So I mean, the only thing that won't be that accurate is like the rockets, but you're still helping your teammates, and your sentry staying safe. The next spot that's up front would be right around this corner. So right when the robots are making their way around, they're getting shot at. And then the last place in up front here would be, of course, up here with your kind of the place where your dispenser is. Now, if you happen to have to get pushed back, the best place for your dispenser it is probably based the path. I honestly like to do the exact opposite. So if they're going this way on the right side, I put it over here. If they're going down this path, I put it on the right side, because they'll normally look in towards the direction that they're turning. And also I do put the sentry in that direction. So I'm basically shooting them somewhat in the back, or somewhat in the back, or just the less amount of time they'll be looking in this direction and they're getting shot at. Now, if you basically lose this area and they go into the town, like I said, these are kind of the spots, but actually you need a prep time. If you don't have prep time, even with max wrench speed, it's not going, you're going to need some time. If not, plop this down, plop the dispenser, use a building canteen. But like I say, good spot. If the path is down this way, you can put your sentry there, fencer there, or if you need to move back just a little bit, you can put it, put it there. Oop, wrong weapon. You can put it there. They normally will go up this path. Normally, I would say at that point you might want to split your efforts. So like the dispenser would be there, and then your sentry up top here. Because you have an ammo pack right here. You can stay around the corner, keep it healed up. Now, if they go on the other side, if they go on the left path, above, on the bridge, there's no real good spot. You could put it here. I've never actually personally done it. This is a good spot, but Robo Engi does spawn right there. So there's a good chance that your sentry might kill yourself. If that can happen. But you can almost get the spots as long as it's in cover. There's that option there. Yeah. And the dispenser kind of right. Where it's as long as it's covered up, because like I say, I've not built up there. That could be a good spot because the sentry range is pretty far. And I would say if you ever if you lose and it gets into town, don't try to rebuild your teleporter. If you do, probably just there. There's like nowhere else, because it's kind of a waste of time if your teammates actually take your teleporter and try to teleport in, because at the point you might as well just walk. So last thing, I'm very sorry I'm not being organized. I believe I did not really go over the secondary and the melee. Like I say, there's no real reason to use the pistol. Like the Wrangler. Now, like I say, if there is a wave that has lots of rockets, short circuit would be very appreciated. I mean, that would be, oh man, it really helps out. But like I say, for me personally, I almost usually use. I will say this: it does depend on your team. If you're on a pub, and if you happen to fail, especially if you fail the mission, switch to short circuit so you can help, destroy the robots. Destroy the rockets while they're in the air. Teammates stay alive longer. Everyone's happy. And the last is the wrench. Like I say, probably the best two choices is the default or the Jag, because hospitality. I'm sorry, the Southern hospitality. There's no good. It's like the fire. There's not that many powers. That's especially on Rotterdam, there's not that many powers. So it's like that's not really not to worry about it. But also the no random critical hits. If you're going to go up against hitting the tank, that would be bad, because with melee you get random crits quite often. And then the one thing with the positive is you make enemies bleed. You're not going to be running around meleeing robots. I kind of do at the end of this video, but I got resistances. I had my sentry set back, so if I died or whatever, there's a line we had drawn. So the Eureka effect, I have not really used it since they have, they made the changes where you can actually pick up your stuff. But the double the time to upgrade, and basically the repair and whatnot. It's even with double, even with the rinse stream maxed out, that still takes a while. There's nothing. Yes, if you're say about to die, you can teleport away. I can understand with that, and you can. I can only say this: using that wrench, you would probably not use any money in the extra metal, because once you use all your use the supply you have, you can teleport back to spawn, refill, and then teleport back. There you go. That would be where it is. But if you recall, I remember at the canteens, about the building upgrade canteens, you need at least one of those so you can drop dispenser, drop sentry, because you probably need them both, and then boom, upgrade at once. If you don't have any money and you use a Rika effect, you have to look around for metal. So it's like that kind of negates the usefulness of having the extra metal. So, and last, I will just say this actually works. Don't use this as the main sentry thing, because yes, you can rock a double mini sentry. This with the Frontier Justice, it's a lot of crits. But like I say, you're really trading the firepower of the Sentry, which is probably greater than the firepower that you can muster up with those controlled crits and the 2 Sentries. So use this at your own risk. But anyway, it does matter which wave and your teammates. I would not do this with randoms. On a relatively hard wave that you need a Sentry. And speaking of sentries, one last thing. The one thing that is, especially on Rottenburg, there are some on Manhattan, are giant scouts, and the one thing that you gotta learn to do is help block the scouts. There's 2 spots. I normally actually put it here, right here. Make sure if you can barely, I can see how I can just barely walk through this. You need to go a little bit more. You need to not be able to make it through there. Yeah, right there. I'm bumping. You need to help block scouts because they almost kind of hug the wall, and that's it. Just sit there. They'll be probably jumping up down right there, and your teammates will take care of it. The other spot, which I'm surprised it works, I personally don't do it because, no my luck, they'll jump it. You can't put it here, even though it's like what stops them from just doing this, but it stupidly works. There's also a spot on Manhattan, the bridge that's where the point gate A is. There's a spot there on the kind of on a slot bridge that you need to put your sentry where there's giant scouts, and that's been a good Engi is helping to block, so they just don't. You literally you're watching them run by, and you're like, you don't want that, So, like I say, I hope you enjoyed this unorganized talking walkthrough tutorial. And actually, I hope you enjoyed my gameplay as me as an engineer on. I think this is Hamlet Hostility.
Sentry going up. Moving out. Let's go. Appreciate it, Doc. Get going. Y'all ready? Move out.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Cowboy up. You're all right, Doc. robot's got the bomb, boy! Backing up!
Alert! Fire! You have destroyed all the cycles. Alert! A sentry cluster has entered the area. And the
There wasn't
engineer
getting any lighter.
destroy it before it builds a teleporter.
I'm moving this. That was getting heavy.
Alert! Alert! Fire! You have killed all the
Moving out! Sentry down! Sentry going up!
Here come the spies! The engineer, you have destroyed all. One wave down, but they'll be back. Good. I'm giving you a bonus.